Nintendo, Game Freak, put Pokemon on Switch. What? Wait, what? It's in development? Nintendo reps have stated it's a 2018 game? It's a full-fledged Pokemon game? Well, that's not good enough. If you think that means I'm incapable of going on and on about how to get Pokemon on Nintendo Switch perfected, you got another thing coming. Pokemon fans have wanted this for a really long time, and now that we're finally getting it, it doesn't feel real. There's not a lot of faith that Game Freak and Nintendo will get it right, but what does right even mean? Well, my friends, do I have the answer for you. Let's start with the presentation. I know the dream is a stylized, ultra-realistic game, but I don't think that's necessary or likely. Granted, I don't really think any of this is likely. We'll probably just get a standard fare Pokemon game with slightly improved online play and visuals, with everything else being standard Pokemon RPG affair. This video is more of a wish list than it is supposed to be about being my well-researched predictions. It's all for fun, so play along, leave your own predictions in the comments. I do want to incorporate a touch of realism, so the compromise here I'd be willing to make, rather than the Unreal 4 concept render art style, I'd be cool with the higher fidelity Sun and Moon art style. There are videos of the Sun and Moon assets being rendered in 1080p. I can see that happening for the Switch version in dock mode and 720p undocked like most Switch games so far. I think the Sun and Moon assets look great, and with a little bit of extra touches, this could be a pretty stunning game even with those compromises in mind. Next up is the setting. I think the best case scenario for the first full-fledged Pokemon game would be if it were set in the Kanto region. Okay, so little known secret, Pokemon Go was the thing that happened, and it did okay, I guess. And because I'm positive you didn't know due to it being a small indie game with moderate success, I don't blame you if you didn't know it also started as a Kanto exclusive game. So it's only right to follow in that tradition. But I don't think it should be the standard Pallet Town born hero story. I think that the player character should be given a choice of their location and vocation. I want to be a Pokemon breeder from Celadon City, or a Team Rocket member from Cinnabar Island, or yeah, a Pokemon trainer from Pallet Town. And I don't mean those specifically, just the ability to be from different places with different goals and have different routes depending on where you're from and the job you choose. And maybe you can even change your mind and change paths or pursue more than one thing. Maybe I want to be a Pokemon coordinator and a Team Rocket member, or a gym leader and a breeder. I understand this is a pie in the sky thing, but again, that's sort of the point. And while I'm on the subject of reinventing yourself as a person in the Pokemon world, I want to say that I don't think this should end at Kanto. I want at least one other region. Ideally, I'd like all other regions included in the game, but I'll go easy on the Game Freak team and just say include Kanto and Alola. That way, there's representation from the old and the newest of the new, or maybe even a newer region than Alola, who knows? As far as the story goes, I think they could stick with the classic Team Rocket escalating scheme, and maybe one other team to interfere at set points throughout your journey's progression. But rather than being location based, I think the story beats should be able to play out depending on how far you've gotten as a trainer. What I mean by that is, if you're a Team Rocket member, stronger main character like trainers appear as you pull off bigger schemes. Or if you're a gym leader, your progression can be more of a leveling system based on how many wins your gym has, or you need to travel around and recruit better trainers to be gym aides and such. This way, you're not tied to going from point A to point B. You decide your path and it scales accordingly, whether my first gym is Cerulean City or Cinnabar. And while we're at it, you know this scene?
You have some catching up to do. As you can see, I already have 10 badges.
How did he get that many badges? I want the option to get that many badges, and I want to be able to have different badges for my friends. Procedural generation for gym type could be a cool solution for this. Put 20 gyms in the game, scatter them in some new cities and towns in addition to the original 8. For the extra region, stick to 8 badges. I'm a reasonable man here, people. For gameplay, I'm sticking to what I said the last time I talked about my console Pokemon game desires. I want the next Pokemon game to play like the original Ni no Kuni, or really kind of a combination of that and an improved Naruto Ultimate Ninja Storm battle system with a hint of Breath of the Wild. This will allow for location-based strategy for attack angle variation. You can attack from the side, behind, or above, and I want environments to play a part in turning the tide of battle. Rain should make electric type attacks do normal damage to ground types, or Bright Sun should make normal type attacks effective against ghost type Pokemon, or a stamina system that'll require you to manage how much you use a particular Pokemon, a bravery system where certain Pokemon are scared, nervous, or even overly confident when pit against certain Pokemon based on their level, type, and nature, and hell, give them a food system where you can feed your Pokemon food that momentarily boosts attributes relating to the new battling system. So no increased special defense or anything like that. This food will momentarily increase stamina or bravery, and I know people hate systems like that, but I think they add a lot of character to games and introduce a lot of unique experiences to each play session. These kinds of systems would bring the crazy battle strategies from the anime to the video games, and for me, that would be a dream come true. Again, things like this happen in the anime all the time. Bring it to the games. Which brings me to the Pokemon League and post-game. Again, I'm sticking with past me and saying I think the Pokemon League should operate in the same way they do in the anime. The Elite Four should be a challenge reserved solely for the trainers that can raise to the top of a multi-entrant tournament comprised of trainers that also have at least 8 badges. These battles would obviously need to be curated in a way that they're competitive and every entrant has an equal opportunity to win. Matchmaking would be pretty important here too. And I don't think that you should need to win to move on to the next region, just enter. Which brings me to my last point. In an ideal world where Switch Online improves Nintendo's online infrastructure, I'd like to see a persistent online system that allows you and a select few of your friends to inhabit the same world when connected to internet and through local wireless. This way, you can compete against them in Pokemon contests, the Pokemon League, form a Team Rocket group, and just go on adventures in the world that affect each of your progress. I know this is a pipe dream, but it's fun to think about, and I think this all could happen one day. But those are my thoughts. What do you think? Do you have any off-the-wall hopes for the Nintendo Switch Pokemon RPG? Did you enjoy this video? Leave a like. Share this video with a friend, someone that is just as excited for Pokemon on Nintendo Switch as we are. And if you really liked it, subscribe for more videos like this every Tuesday and Thursday at 4 p.m. Eastern Time. Okay, that's it for me. See you next week.